There you go. Good morning. Just give me a sec to get situated here. Alright, so I look it up and might as well just start. I don't know if it has to be hard, whatever. So what I'm looking at this morning, I had my journal. I the my journal right here. And so the Nasdaq, I'm looking for something to run down the sell side. Ideally, I'd like to see if price will move past this level and sit much lower. Yeah, center. Um, so I'm saying basically here, start to really displace and move past these levels down and really past lower, then we can continue to displace. But I am noting that the down is much lower than Nasdaq. With this being said, if Nasdaq shows rejection of old lows of displacement, I wouldn't mind hunting long. For the yen, I'm open to a trade discount. So I had seen this. I wanted to kind of like close above this area and get a little closer to this high and maybe see a retracement, but it seems to have rejected and retracing into this now. I probably will wait for longs, wait for more information. I don't know. So I need to pick which one I want to focus on because uh, you have the Nasdaq, which doesn't look too bad, S&P, and the Dow is much lower. So not really in total agreement. And the Dow, the yen just kind of looks. I don't like this big wick. Like I would still like to frame longs, but I don't know. With the trend, it could easily just fall through all this. So I would suppose I'm gonna wait for the USD JPY. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like how the S&P is lagging behind and the Dow. Means that if I'm looking to long, it'd be the Nasdaq. So I shouldn't be looking to short the Nasdaq. No, but if I'm looking to short, I should be taking it on the Dow or the S&P, because the Nasdaq's probably going to be lagging if it does go lower. And if it goes higher, the Nasdaq would probably be the best one to trade. We're still beneath the midnight open, so we could be forming a 15-minute fair value gap balance price range. If we come back inside of this, um, and the S&P does start to, and the Dow start to go higher and get in sync, then maybe we could have good price action. So I'm gonna highlight this inverse fair value gap, Let me wear a sweater. Get some shoes. I'll be back. Actually, fuck the shoes. I'm gonna get cold feet. Yeah, so I mean, I don't like to look at the lower time frame right now because there's just not anything. It's not an area of interest, to do anything right now. So I'm not gonna go down to the lower time frame. Instead, I'm gonna focus on the hourly and 15 minute. This hourly candle just closed, right, and kind of left formed an order block, moving away from the fair value gap here, and rejecting or failing to trade beneath all those. Also, we are still inside the range from Wednesday. So the past 2 days, Friday, or was Thursday? No, Thursday. There was no Friday. No, this is Thursday. The entire Thursday's range, Friday and Monday, stayed inside that range. So there's lots of liquidity at the highs and the low of that day. So I will be watching for potential ultimately around in there sometime today, either the high or low. That's what I'd like to see. On the daily chart, we're sort of like going higher, having a lot of trouble doing so. So I don't see why we can't just see some discount already, and then now we're on the way back up to the buy side liquidity. But I just need to position myself in a good area of discount, an area of interest, in order to seek it up there. For the S&P, a lot lower. Not really like looking for longs. The S&P is just kind of consolidating. It looks like it's getting ready for a move lower, but the Nasdaq seems like it's wanting to go higher a little bit. Well, really, they're all just kind of consolidating, in my opinion. So nothing might happen, and we might just continue to consolidate. But we'll measure how price reacts to these areas down here. So we'll be in discount, and let's try and see if we get some large range lower into this gap on the 1 minute chart. Hello, Abdel. Hello, what is your draw on liquidity today? My draw on liquidity is buy side. I want to see buy side. Initially down here it was sell side, but we started to reject this low. So I wasn't too excited about continuing to look for more sell side. And I'm looking for a buy side, which is Thursday's high, since price stayed inside that range. Until price gets into an area of interest, then I will remain on the 15-minute and 5-minute chart. I also will be getting a call at 10:15, so I will probably be muting and turning off the camera, just for anyone that's watching. I don't know how long it will be. It could even be 30 minutes. So I may not get the trade. 50-minute breaker and fair value gap, I think, is good to get buy side. Yeah, I agree. 50-minute breaker and fair value. I was checking the audio, but okay. Yeah, it could be good. We'll see. Because again, like I mean, only thing I don't like is the S&P and the Dow. Um, I feel like if the Dow, it doesn't really matter because the Dow is always just doing its own thing, but more like the S&P. If it continues to stay beneath this low, it would just kind of like drag the Nasdaq down and might make it harder for Nasdaq to go up the buy side, which could create high resistance liquidity condition where it's just like prices are tracing a whole lot and consolidating more often, not really running nice and quickly, which I don't like. My average trade is 7 minutes, so that's like I like getting for quick and easy moves um, to draws and with little drawdown and time in the trade. But still, it's not a scalp. It's still a good move, but like not a tiny scalp where it's just like a couple points. But you know, dollar is still going up. No surprise. The bond prices are going down. Hmm. Oil is interesting. I went. Okay, I'm still in the area. Gold is crazy. Yeah, look at the Dow's daily chart and then the Nasdaq. It's just kind of like I think we're starting to go back into a buyer's market because we had a little bit of fear here and with war, and so people may have panicked, started to sell a lot more than they might have. Well, obviously with war, I remember in July it was a huge concern, and then again in early September, a lot of people had a huge concern about war, and so now we're sort of like I guess those concerns are getting pushed aside, and the markets are starting to shift back into as we get closer to the election, shift back into a nice bull run. Because in a bull run, usually the Nasdaq should be leading because it's where the most of the money is, the market caps are in the stock market, and so wherever the I guess the feeling is wherever people are, if it's a bull market, usually people are gonna be buying more tech stocks, and tech is going to go up a lot more than anything else. Starting to delete this hourly gap. I don't think I need it, but it seems like we're just quickly making our way up there. Did not give us a 15-minute fair value gap. That's okay. Um, with that being the case, I probably won't be doing anything then today, unless we start to really reject and we start to see shorts. But I don't want to force anything. So I was listening to a voice message. Now, if we're bullish and we're going to continue going higher, ideally, I don't want this gap to fill. I want to leave breakaway gaps down here. And if we do that and we start to, form an order block, that would be very bullish. And I'd expect to quickly run out Thursday's high and then be done for the day. I think Thursday's high is above this 15-minute fair value gap. So I'll be watching that too. Now, new week opening gap should also support price. That's just ideally the best scenario. It might not happen, but that ideally is what I would should happen. We take a look at JPY. So JPY seem to we're rejecting low again. This could be like a nice 930 Judas swing. I just don't have like a breaker. It's very hard to like I'd be forcing it trying to predict a breaker here, but I mean let's just see how this gap reacts to price. I like where it's at. Like this blue shade area is a daily fair value gap. We tapped into it after taking this sell side, the short term low on the higher time frame, consolidating a little bit. The only thing I don't like with JPY is just that there's a lot of sell side here, and it's just kind of like a little scary. And with this run up where we created a new kind of high of the day, except yeah, we created a new high of the day. I don't really like how we're coming all the way back down to the low of the day. It seems like just price or almost the low of the day. It seems like if you're asking it to go higher, you'd be needing to ask much, much more of it in order to do so. And I don't want to be positioning myself in those sorts of environments where I have to demand price to really want to go higher. Instead, I like it for it to be easy and almost like obvious it's going to go higher. Like it never has taken liquidity up here. It's right for the taking, but obviously it did take liquidity and then it rejected. And you had a nice short actually. You had a nice breaker there and a short down to these lows. So I mean, but that was not part of my bias to go short. So I will not be doing anything for. It doesn't look like it for JPY. And let's see if this is going to work as an inverse. Actually, it looks like it will. And continue to run lower. But honestly, I don't really care what happens to JPY now. I'm gonna go back to the Nasdaq. And we're still showing support for new week opening gap. So I mean, the gap has not been filled. We're leaving a breakaway gap, but it's really having a hard time continuing higher. And again, that's probably because the S&P is slightly going higher. But it's starting to stab up a little bit more. Yeah, I don't like. I don't like shorts here because again, it's very hard to frame a bearish breaker, and there's still the draw above that I'm looking for. So maybe it'll be an inverse, and then I'm not gonna be taking it because it's above midnight open and we're not in a discount. And I'd expect this to become an order block and to support. I'd now expect this candle to be supporting price. So as price is making its way through it, I want it to start to be support, helping price move through it very quickly, not really spending much time, and then you can use it later to bounce off of once it gets above it. I should be getting a call any minute now, so I will be going on mute and turning off my camera. And it doesn't look like there's going to be a nice trade anyway, so I will continue to watch charts and whenever I'm done the call, come back and comment some more. But I really don't think I'm going to be doing anything today in the chart. So yeah, and I'm just waiting for the call. Yeah. All right. Have a nice day, though. Hello? Oh my god. Um, you should be able to hear me. Well, what I said, if you couldn't hear me, was I'm on doing university stuff on the phone, so I will probably have to mute again soon because I'm on hold. But basically, I didn't really want it to start to retrace. It kind of already left. I was looking for longs in the morning, but it never gave me the 15-minute fair value gap up here at the 10 o'clock. So because it's breached this high and this high, it's just kind of like ideally I wouldn't really want it to retrace. If it does retrace, I could still frame it to go higher, but because we're stretching a little thin on time, I just kind of I don't feel as comfortable. S- Still buying it after the retracement. I'd rather it. I got to mute again. Hello, hello. All right, I'm back. All right, no. So what I was saying is you know I want longs. I want to go to Thursday's high because we are staying inside Thursday's range. So in the beginning of the morning, it was either the lower high, and then 9:30 did not kind of finish off this sort of initial 8:30 run lower, and instead rejected this low at 6 a.m. And so as we're going up, then I'm wanting to frame longs, but we don't get the 15-minute PDRA. So instead, we just continue to run higher. And now, because of time, I'm not really feeling comfortable buying any retracements because it's just I feel like it's just out of steam, and I need to be more patient. Um, but preferably, I wouldn't really want it to retrace all that much. If it does retrace down to this area, the 50-minute PDRA, I mean, I would still want to see it bounce off of that, but I don't think I would take anything because of time. And then we're seeing rejection off of this gap. I looked at this gap because it's just obvious. If you look at this cluster consolidation, this is the most obvious PDRA. So price just came down, referred to it beneath this low. So the context was that we took out this low, which is like a turtle soup. Um, if you look at it on the 5-minute chart, you can see the kind of initial retracement, the run higher, um, inducing liquidity, and then sweeping liquidity, running higher. So now it seems like we're immediately rebalancing. I'd like this gap to stay open if we're going to continue going higher to buy side. So I wouldn't really be looking for any retracements, and that's what I would have on price right now. And just kind of like tape reading that. The question is the 1002 candle considered an order block? Um, well, you can consider it an order block. because it's a down close candle. So if order flow is bullish, right? All down close candles should um, support the price, right? Like, oh, I gotta mute. Hold on. All right. They put me on mute again or on hold, but yeah. So yeah, the order block, like any of these down close candles, really could be an order block. The reason being because it's just a cluster consolidation. The reason I picked the inverse or valley gaps is because it's the most obvious one. And then the down close candles, kind of like each of them, I'd expect to sort of somewhat support price because if order flow is bullish, right? The up close candles should be traded through. Like in bullish order flow, you shouldn't really see retracements. You should be seeing nice price action, one-sided, going up. But what I did is I went to the 3 minute chart, and you can see there's a nice one single candle there. You can use that one too. Um, Same thing on the 4 minute, and then a little bit on the 5 minute. So this kind of like gives you more of a um, like, I guess, average order block, maybe, I guess you could say. Um, the higher time frame, the better. So whatever you can find higher time frame, like you could use 50% of this way, and you would have probably been better take, right? And that would have been the best PD rate to use. On a lower time frame, you can just, I guess, find other things, but I find that the higher time frame, the better. So if you see a bunch of clusters, just go on the higher time frame and try and figure out what PD rates forming in the higher time frame. You're welcome. For JPY, see, it's just doesn't look. Uh, I don't like this chart. Like it's just consolidating, in my opinion. Like I can see, okay, it's at a low discount and took. Oh, I got mute. Okay. Hello again. It made it a little bit complicated, but I'm gonna end the stream now. I mean, I'm just studying the delivery, and it's 11, so I'm not trading anymore. I will be getting to my schoolwork for the rest of the day, really. So yeah, uh, that's it, I guess. Let's see how many points it ran though. Would have been pretty cool. It's okay though. See you next time.